What's going on? This is the first video of my YouTube channel. I can't tell you how many times people have told me to make content. I'm just one of those guys who is behind the scenes. So for those who don't know who I am, my name's Shiv. Yes, like the prison knife. But basically, I've been doing what's called local SEO, or ranking websites on Google for the best part of the last 9 years. I also do coaching now. So I want to, like, full disclaimer, I do sell like a coaching program today, which I know has a lot of stigma to it. But I want to just go over really quick kind of what I've done in my early 20s. I'm now 30. I got to over $250,000 a year by the time I was 21, learning these skills. So these are some real valuable skills. Obviously, there's only so much I can cover in a short video here, but I just want to go over kind of a brief, almost like a sampler platter of the different kind of tools and things I use. So basically what I do is I rank these little ugly websites in small cities for small business owners. So think like tow truck owners, tree care, roofing, water damage, all those different types of tree service like tree care, tree removal. So there's about 400 different niches you can go into, 400 different types of industries that are really good. There's also about 50 industries that I really hate, that people in my coaching program, they get kind of the list of all the stuff I like, all the stuff I don't. But to kind of give you a really simple explanation of this, I'm going to go pull up, let's say I'm in a small city in California called Foster City, right? So Foster City, pretty small city, right? Only 32,000 people are in there. But let's say you're in Foster City and your car breaks down. What are you going to do? Well, you're probably going to go to Google and you're going to type in the word towing. Now, I'm right now physically not in Foster City, so I'm going to add Foster City to the search term. But if you're in Foster City, you just have to type in the word towing on Google search on your phone, right? And you'll pull up the same or very, very similar results to this. What's really nice is on a mobile phone, you just have to type in the word towing. Google automatically knows your location. Obviously, I'm not physically recording this in Foster City, California, so I had to add it to my Google search to simulate the same results. But you'll see here's a website. There's actually someone who I taught. So this is like one of my coaching students built this. But you can see they're up here. So this is actually their website. So like I said, very ugly site, drag and drop. I literally have 60, 70, 80-year-old grandmas make this stuff. So even I have a person who I'm coaching who got their 12-year-old daughter to make this. So what's really cool is you don't need fancy technology. You could literally do this off one of those cheap Chromebooks. You can do it off an iPad too. I don't recommend it. I think having some cheap laptop's a little easier. But it's very drag and drop, and I'll show you that platform in a second here. But do you see how there's this phone number right up here? What's really cool about this phone number is that it's a voice over IP tracking phone number. This website does not belong to an actual tow truck company. This belongs to just a person like you and me, right? So like I have hundreds of sites just like this. This site in particular I'm showing off belongs to someone I'm coaching. They built it, and because of certain things they're doing, which we'll talk about in a second here, that Google likes, you have to understand Google is an algorithm. It's just a fancy math equation. And that math equation determines what gets ranked first versus second versus third on Google. If it ranks on Google, it typically will also show up on ChatGPT. But what you'll see is that this phone number here, this is a tracking number, voice over IP number. So anytime someone Google searches in Foster City that they need a tow truck, they find the site, they click the website, they get this phone number, they call it, right? And they're like, hey, I'm stranded on the side of the road. I need a tow truck. I need to get towed. And that call gets recorded. Obviously, it does all the nice disclaimers, like this call is being recorded for training purposes. But then it forwards to an actual tow truck company. So let's call them Joe's Towing, right? So Joe gets the phone call. And when Joe picks up, it will give a little disclaimer on Joe's end. So it'll say this call's from fostercitytowing.net, and then the call connects. So Joe's now getting a customer, right? So Joe, the tow truck company, gets customers. They're able to go make money, get more business. They just got a tow. You win because you made Joe money. Joe gets the tow. Joe goes, fulfills the customer. So everyone wins, right? The person stranded on the highway or stranded on the road, they're able to get a tow truck. You're able to make passive reoccurring income because you built the site once. And Joe's paying you basically to be the middle person, right? To broker the leads. And it's all automated. I'll show all this to you. But in this case, I'm pretty sure the person I'm coaching, I think they're making $500 a month off this client. So you can only imagine that you do all this upfront work. but you're getting paid over and over and over again. For example, for me, I have sites that have been around for 6, 7, 8 years now that I'm still getting a check every month in the mail for that I haven't touched in years. Right. So you can only imagine, obviously, $500 a month is not going to get anyone watching this to like quit their day job. But you can imagine if you have, 4, 8, 15, 20 of these, in my case, I have over 100 of these. It adds up to real money, right? It adds up to a real business. So let me show you a couple things. So probably the biggest question people have is, well, like, wait, you just build any website? So the answer is no. A lot of the genius to this business model is picking which websites to build and which niche and which city. And obviously, this is hours of skill set training. I'm compressing down here. So there's a lot of stuff I'm going to leave out, not because I'm trying to hide info, but I just don't have the time. That's really the magic. So the best way you can kind of understand this, it's if you've ever studied anything in real estate, all the money people make in real estate, they say it's when you buy the property, right? It's all the research that goes into buying the property. So we call this process due diligence. So like when you look at, are the school districts good? What's the crime rate like? Is the neighborhood safe? And then you get a home inspection, right? You're looking for situations on the internet which are really easy to rank for. So there's this toolbar. You probably saw it down here. This is something that we give you access to at a really, really discounted rate. It's called Ahrefs. It's very expensive if you go to ahrefs.com. I think it's like $150 a month. But because people can kind of add on to my enterprise agency plan, it ends up cheaper in my program, a lot cheaper to kind of come in on this amazing software. But what Ahrefs does is it basically tells you, it simulates the back end of Google. Basically, the numbers Google sees that kind of determines how things rank. And so I know there's a lot of numbers just down here, but we're going to focus on just this one number here called RD. In the easiest of ways, think of RD as a kind of a thumbs up, thumbs down voting system. It means how many other websites are talking about your website and giving it an approval of any sort of way. So before my student built the person I'm coaching built this site here, they went and scrolled and looked at the other results. And do you see how like this Yelp page here has 0 RD? Yelp again, 0 RD. This one auto towing 1 RD. And all of these, if we were to search it here, they're all showing Foster City, right? So they're showing in the city we're trying to rank for, and they're all showing low votes. So my student saw this and went, wait a minute, all these have very low votes. So if I come in here, and there's a very easy way to get these votes or RD, and I come in here and just put a little bit of effort and get 25 votes, which is not a lot. I mean, I have a group of 1,900 people, right? So we all help each other get these votes. I can completely dominate, become the number one listing. So that's a very simplistic view. There's obviously there's things too of like, there's a reason why he bought fostercitytowing.net, bought that name, right? Because it's keyword optimized. It kind of fits those words better. But just something that simple of looking at where are the other sites landing in Google's eyes and going, wait, I can beat that. Whereas like, obviously, I'm not going to be able to beat. Let's look at something like Apple iPhone, right? A national term that searches all of America that's very competitive. Look at this. Do you think I can beat 40,500 votes? Of course I can't. There's no way I'm going to beat that many votes. So that's really the genius of the model is that I'm going into stuff that's so simple, so small town. And you can only imagine, what do you think the average tow truck owner, do you think the average tow truck owner understands this stuff? Do you think the average tow truck owner is a internet person that understands computers and web? Of course they're not. Not only do they not know how to use a computer, here's the shocking part. So I would say about 60% of the business owners that pay me reoccurring every month, they have a website, but the website's on like page 9 of Google. It doesn't get any views. But the crazier stat is 40% of business owners don't even have a website at all. They have no online presence at all. Like they don't even understand the value of it in 2025. So basically, by building these little sites, you find an opportunity, find a niche, you use kind of this toolbar we give you to look at stuff that's easy to rank in, go out and dominate. And then that phone number, it's all tracked. So I'm going to show you a different tow truck site for the phone number, just for privacy sake, so we don't like reveal, exactly who our clients are. I want to honor, my coaching students client here. But here's another site, which is Omaha Towing. So same concept, just now it's Omaha. We got 120 phone calls in the last 30 days. So this is another person I coach. This is one of their sites, which is, 120 calls. Can you imagine for a business owner having an extra 120 calls a month in their business? If you don't think that they're willing to pay for that, you're crazy, right? Of course they're gonna it's like the easiest sale on planet Earth. If you can show a business owner how to get them an extra 120 leads, extra 120 potential customers a month. But let's scroll down and let's just play one of these calls here, just so you can hear. It's all recorded. It's all compliant on both ends. But I wanted to show you that we have the data. So that way the business owner here, they can't lie to us. They can't say, oh, I got no customers. Oh, all the phone calls are bad, because we have the recordings. So let's just play one.
This is Chris.
Hi. I was just calling. I'm wondering to know what it would cost what the cost is for a tow here. I think the car is low on oil. I was trying to get an oil change this week because he was beeping at me, but it locked up. I even tried to put some oil in, and I still can't get it to turn. So I just need to get it to a shop here, and I was just curious what that would look like time-wise and money-wise.
Okay. What kind of vehicle is it?
The Chevy Traverse.
And just so I can get you an accurate price, where about is the vehicle broke down or located?
There you have it, right? So real proof that you're actually helping the business owner get customers, because that's very important, right? If you don't have the data, you're just going to get people can take you for a ride, right? They can say, oh, all the phone calls did this or that, but we have actual proof. So we teach you how to set this up. It's a platform called callrail.com. And same thing, we have a unique angle to set this up. Let me show you how to do it. But yeah, everything's right in here. And then let me show you one of the coolest things is the website editor, right? So I know it's a little confusing. Now here's yet another towing website, because obviously I'm showing some examples from different people I've coached, but I wanted to keep it towing just so we're all kind of talking through the same wavelength here. But here's a site in the editor, and just to show you, because one of the biggest things that freak people out about technology is they go, "I'm not a computer person, right? I don't know how to program. I don't know how to code. I'm not someone who likes to use technology." And I want to show you that this stuff's so simple. Like, let's say here I want to add. Let me pump the size up again here, the font size. But let's say I want to add a text box. All I do is I just go to widgets here, and I click on text, and I just drag it where I want. So let's say I want it below this paragraph. And then there you go. And now I can start typing, right? So it's so simple. It's so drag and drop. If I want this picture resized, you just go grab this and resize it, right? So one thing I love about this web builder is that it's so intuitive. And look, I get it. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, God, these sites are so ugly. They look so plain. And my rebuttal to that is, who cares? No one cares about how the website looks. All they care about is the phone ringing. Are you getting the business owner customers? And in fact, what's really cool about this is that the business owner has nothing to do with this. So like all these clients that I have, they don't have access to the website. They don't have access to anything because I own it. It's my asset. I own and control these websites. The agreement I have with the business owner is that they're just paying me for the phone calls, for the leads, for the customers. So that's why it's monthly reoccurring, and you have really good leverage, because if the business owner ever decides that they want to stop paying you, guess what I can do? Instead of going to Jim's or Joe's towing, I can call up Frank's towing, right? I can call up like Sarah's towing and go, hey, Sarah, I was working with Jim's towing or Joe's towing, and Joe no longer wants to keep working with me. I'm getting 120 calls a month. Do you want me to forward it over to you and keep going for, let's say, $1,000 a month, or we come up with a price, and I'll show you how to do that as well. And so it's very, very simple, right? The kind of the way you can have leverage in business is so important, because if there's no way for you to be able to quit on the business owner, and vice versa, the business owner can quit on you, because each one of, like, I can quit working with them and they can quit working with me. That's what makes these healthy relationships that last a long time. So to me, the best way to think about this business is very simple. Very similar to like, it's very similar to like a landlord and you're renting. I think of these websites like rental homes, and I'm renting them out to a business owner. And so, people buy rental homes for passive income. But the best part about all of this is that this business costs only a few $1,000s to set up as kind of like a one-time expense. And then it's just $50 a month. And that's a few $1,000s for the entire business. I'm talking like just to learn the skills, to understand everything. Some of these softwares have kind of one-time setup fees. But what's really nice is the long term is so dirt cheap. These sites only cost about $50 a month in expenses, and I'm renting them out to business owners for $500 a month, $1,000 a month. So that's just a little taste of kind of the business. The last thing people always ask me about this is, all right, so you built the site, you're getting the phone calls, but how do you even find the business owners? How do you even interface with them? And the coolest part is that what I do is I like to just go to like Google Maps, or I like to go to yellowpages.com, which I know who uses the phone book, but Yellow Pages Online has a directory. So you can look up, like, so for example, I'll even show it on the screen here. So go to like yellowpages.com. I'll go type in towing, Foster City, California. And it will show me a list right here of different companies, like tow truck companies that serve Foster City. And honestly, I'll just either text message. I like to just send text through my phone, right? Just send them a little text. Just saying, hey, I know this is like super random, but like I'm getting a bunch of calls for tow trucks in Foster City. If I were to send them over to you, if you end up liking them, are you open-minded in the future to working out some type of deal, right? Very simple. But I give them a free trial. So the big magic of this is that I always give a few customers a few of those phone calls to the business owner for free, because I know if anyone here has shopped at Costco, what's the magic of Costco? You go in, you think you're going to buy your milks and your milk, eggs, and cheese. You're going to have a normal $100, grocery shopping list. And then, oh, look, there's a sample lady and she has little samples of A5 Wagyu, right? Japanese steak. And now you have $400 of the stupid thing in your cart because you took one free bite of it. So I know with the business owners, if I send them a couple leads and I send them some business and they make some money, like they're hooked, right? Like I just know they're in. And then we have this really cool calculator that I give my coaching students to use to help them determine what's a fair price to charge the business owner. Because you have to understand something. With these business owners, this makes them money. So unlike every other thing that people try to sell on internet land, it's like if I told you I'm going to give you $10,000 a month and it costs $1,000 a month, as long as you knew I was legit, not scamming you, of course you would do it, right? Of course you're going to pay $1,000 a month to make $10,000 a month. So same thing applies here, which is, so for example, the average tow is about $100. Obviously, all this is walked through step by step in my program. In this case, I show you 120 calls in the last 30 days, right? 120 calls. In towing, the profit margin is around anywhere from 30 to 40%, depending on how good they run their business. Let's kind of split the differential at 35%. And close rate, how many of these phone calls end up closing? Towing, it's very high. Some niches are lower, and we give you all this in the training. Towing is really high. Towing is about 50% close rate, as you can only imagine, right? If you're stranded on the highway, you're not going to shop around too much and like take your time. You're kind of going, hey, get me out of here. So it's a high close rate. And this calculator will actually tell you basically what you should charge as a monthly flat fee. So in this case, anywhere between $500 to $864, $540 to $864 a month for you is a very reasonable price, because the business owner is going to make more than that. After they pay all their employees and all that, the business owner is going to make more profit than they're paying you. They're going to be really thrilled about it. So that's a really simple explanation of my business, walking you through the steps. And yeah, this is my first YouTube video. So I'll see you on the next one. Peace.